All right, everybody, we are live, coming on a few minutes early so we can make sure that everybody can hear me, everybody can see me, making sure there's no issues with sound and sight. And we're going to wait here in a little bit, let some people get in, and before we get started. So, it's been a few weeks since I've done a live stream, so I might be a little rusty tonight, guys. John, how you doing? Good evening, sir. Good to see you here, buddy. Got some people piling on. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, let's see. We got about 4 minutes till the top of the hour, so we'll kind of hang out. Anybody has any questions or something like that, I could probably answer real quick. We could do that. We're going to chit chat a little bit about some new printers coming out soon because I know everybody's kind of wanting to know information on a few of them. There's some information out there, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what your opinion is on some of the features on some of these printers, what you're looking for, what you expect. So we'll go through that. Good evening, Michael. Good evening, Steve. Garrick, how you doing? Howdy, howdy. All right. We're just a couple of minutes to the top of the hour, and then we'll get started. Once we get some people on here, I know a lot of people kind of want to come from the beginning and not miss out on anything rather than watch the replay. But however, we get a lot of people to watch the replay. Man, I got like a frog in my throat or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. And there, all right. Yeah, buddy, I feel you, Michael. Exhausted, man, isn't the word. I'm kind of like in that zone this evening. That's probably why I'm kind of got a little something going on with my throat here. Hope it's not anything serious. I'm sure it's not. We might not have a lot of people on this evening. I think I think a lot of people have been seeing posts from a couple of these companies and seeing what some of the features and stuff like that. It's kind of a mixed bag reaction here, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. All right, let's see. Worked till 11 last night, back up at 7 for an 11 a.m. shift. Yeah, man, that's all we do. We just work, and make rich people richer and give them more money. And in between, we try to find something to kind of pacify the time and make life worth living, like 3D printing. Hey, Dan. Yeah, that is a good tactic right there. And I've seen a lot of people that are feeling the same way you do. A lot of people are not going to buy any of these new models, just going to wait for something to go a little cheaper. You know, of course, when you're on a budget, I mean, not everybody's got five, six, seven, $800 to throw around. So yeah, they kind of have to do what they need to do in order to fit within their budget. We don't have very many people on here. I guess everybody kind of was like, hadn't done it in a few weeks. Hey Tyrone, how you doing, buddy? So we're almost at the top of the hour, and then we'll get started. Usually, like people like talking about these subjects, but who knows? Maybe not everybody's in the market to buy a new printer or doesn't really care what's going on. I know times are tight with the economy going and the way it is and everything, and some people are just quite happy with what they have, and there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, my wife is right. I did promote this with a small time frame. I wasn't sure I was going to do a live stream this week. I mean, just kind of wasn't sure if I really wanted to kind of talk about this or if I wanted to, kind of let it go and maybe wait till next week. But I figured, hey, let's go ahead and talk about it now and see what people's thoughts are and everything. And it's been a few weeks since I've done a live stream. So I figured, why not? We'll just get on here and go with the flow and see what happens. And then we'll talk some stuff about it, and we'll answer some questions later on in the end of the live stream. And if anybody has anything that they want to talk about, we can do that. That's what we do here. So there's a lot of times where we start on a subject and we'll kind of go through it, and then eventually we'll get off topic. And then we'll kind of start talking about something else, and then we kind of go back and forth and everything. But I think for the most time, everybody has a good time. Hey, Sarge, how you doing? Sergeant Digital Design, everybody. Go over there and check out the Sarge. Check out his YouTube channel if you have not already. My man is monetized and making money now. Hey, Enzo, how are you? DKev. Yeah, we're going to talk about that whole thing. Yes, Sarge, that Magneto is awesome looking, dude. I like that video. Looked pretty good, man. So Enzo Shimamura is I hope I didn't butcher your name, Enzo, is on. He has been working with me in doing a lot of our models and stuff like that for my Patreon. And the guy's just a phenomenal artist. So definitely go over and check out. He has an Instagram, and I'm not sure if he has a Facebook page or anything, but he's definitely on Instagram. Go check him out. See some of the models that he's done for the channel, and see some of his other work. He's a phenomenal artist and so easy to work with. And we got us a badass Captain America coming out, don't we, Enzo? So yeah. Um, let's see who else is here. Joe Torres. Yo, how's it going, sir? All right, we're at the top of the hour. We're at 7:02 actually. So we're going to kind of dive in a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the new printers that are actually been talked about this past week, and talk about some of the features that some of these guys are doing, some of the things that people are liking, some of their opinions, just a little bit all over the place when it comes to this. So I guess what we'll do is we'll start out with one that I've been promoting for a couple of years now, and that is Lenant. And a lot of you people probably don't know who the hell Lenant is, but I've done some videos. I've done some videos for them, and very good printers, very underrated. Now, Lenant has not released anything in probably a couple of years. The last major printer that they did was one of their AK Pros, and they did a little bit bigger format printer in the deck. And I still use those printers to this very day. I have 3 of them. They're still phenomenal. The only information, because I've been trying to get some stuff from them, is the only thing that they're telling me is we're looking at May, possible of May, for them to come out with a new printer. It is going to be a deck format, which means that it is going to be a large format printer. The one thing that you can count on with um, the one thing that you can count on with those guys is that it does have the dual Z axis, which does help with a lot of your knotting and shifting and things like that. So you get stable prints, which is very, very cool. They do have a big format print. The printer is huge. Internal fans, easy to swap out VATs and FEP. I don't know whether they're going to have any of the bells and whistles like some of the other companies are with like an AI camera, or anything like that. They're really tight-lipped on this. They've been working on it for a couple of years, so I hope it's really good. They're really not giving me much info on it, but it is going to be a large format printer. Typically, Lenant's printers go up around anywhere from like, I want to say like $800 to $1,000. They are a little bit more on the expensive side. So we'll see if they knock some of that price down between now and then. which would be cool for everybody to kind of jump on them because they do make some really good printers. There's another guy on Instagram, and I'm not sure if he's on YouTube, who does a lot of work with the Lynette printers, and that's Goosebot. He does some really good work, and I have not featured any in any videos, and shame on me, I probably need to do so, but I still use their printers. Got a couple of people hopped on here, so we got um, you Watt Mate or whatever. Hey Gears. So Hey Gears just released a couple of things, and we'll touch a little bit on that. AJ, how you doing? Huey, Rob, Julio, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've done anything. Um, so um, so with Lynette, we kind of just have to wait. And as I get more information, I'll actually post it at probably on either another live stream later on down the line. I might make a short out of it, or I might just put it in the community tab on the channel. So yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, if everybody can smash that like button for me. Kind of gets a little bit of traction on the channel, gets it out there in front of everybody, helps the algorithm or whatever the hell they call it. But I appreciate that. Hello, Dale. All right, so the second one, and I do have a little bit more information about that we're going to talk about, is Uniformation. So Uniformation is releasing the GK3. I have talked to the rep, my rep, who I kind of talk with and go through and everything like that, especially when I get demo models and stuff. They are telling me that I'll probably have something shipped to me within a couple of weeks, which is pretty quick. So we've been kind of going back and forth. They're not giving much information on theirs as well, other than from what I am told so far, it is going to have a 13.6-inch build volume. So it's a lot bigger than the GK2. It will have the vat heater. They're talking about some probably redesigning of the vat, which their vat had the slide in, slide out on the GK2, which that printer just kind of took the print, the print community by storm. A lot of people are just up in arms about it. They got a lot of bad rap at the beginning about, oh, this thing is so expensive or whatever. But once people started really printing with that printer, they understood that that was well worth the money. And a lot of my guys on my Patreon and on my Discord use that printer religiously, and they love it. I mean, and I hear nothing but great things about it. There, of course, you get every once in a while you hear somebody that just kind of just doesn't know what they're doing or just doesn't like it or has a problem with it. Not to mention they got extremely quick and courteous customer service. So if you ever have any issues with it or whatever, then they usually try and knock it out really, really quick and get to you and yeah, get you taken care of. Yeah, see, Rob's got a GK2. I've got two, and I actually need to change FEPs in both of them right now because I've worn them out. Great printer. So the GK3 we're looking at possibly here in a couple of weeks. I think it's probably going to go out up for order probably in May-ish is what they're telling me. 13.6-inch build volume is significantly bigger. It's um, probably still not as big as I would want it to be because I like to print in big stuff, but I get it. I mean, it's going to be a decent mid-size SLA printer for, for everybody who is just a GK2 and GKU2 and Uniformation user. So be on the lookout for that. I do not have a price point yet. They're not telling me anything as far as that. I'm sure they're going to be releasing some information relatively soon. Now, once I get the GK3, I will be doing a video like automatically. I mean, probably a few videos because I love their printers. I love their customer service. I love the reps that I talk with them, and they're very helpful and everything. But I'll definitely be doing a video on there. I'll probably be doing a live unboxing. I haven't done one of those before, so I'm pretty hyped up about possibly looking into something like that. So if you guys think that that would be cool, let me know in the comments. If you guys would love to see a live unboxing of the thing, see what it looks like. Of course, we won't be able to necessarily print anything on it, but we'll get a pretty good look at it, and you'll see it first and foremost. I really want to get this thing as soon as I can. That way, you guys will be the first ones to see it. So, fingers crossed, here in a couple of weeks, I'll probably have that in hand. So with the GK2, the other thing that was really, really helpful was the air purifier system in it. It was very small. It helped a little bit, I think, but really didn't take care of fumes like I would think it would, or it should have. So I think maybe if they put another air purifier, a little bit bigger one in there or something like that, that would be cool. So that would be something neat to have. Um, let's see. Should do a GK3 to give away to one of your Patreon members. When you say one, you mean me. So that's something that I'm actually in discussion with them, maybe about doing a live unboxing and possibly, hopefully, giving one away. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I can't make any promises right now. I just want to get it into my hands and start toying with it and seeing what's going on with all the new features. They're telling me there's going to be some new features on there. I'm not sure what it is. I've been told that just the rumor is that they're going to have sensor detecting or low resin sensor detecting. But again, we don't know. The only thing that I know for certain is I think it's a VAT redesign. And I think that comes from probably a lot of feedbacks that some of the YouTubers had or feedback from customers. The slide in, slide out thing was cool. The only problem I think people had with was the little tabs on the bottom were breaking off. But I think you could get the tabs where there was people who were 3D printing them on FDM printers. They sent me just like a whole handful of them. And to be honest with you, I never had any more break off. I had like one in the beginning. They sent me a whole bunch of them, and I never had one break off since then. So if they did something to remedy that, that would be cool. Um, when it comes to other features like a camera, other stuff like that, I'm not sure what else they could put on there. The biggest thing that people want, and in my opinion, and what have I been seeing in comments on the other groups and everything, is people want, number one, they want build volume. They could give a shit about speed. The other thing is they want that VAT heater, because I think when the GK2 was released, and people were like, "Oh, that's just way too much money for that." And then we started getting on here and talking about it, and people started grabbing it and printing with it. It makes a huge hell of a difference in having that VAT heater on there compared to not having it. And a lot of people from European countries who have a cold climate can attest to that. So that's definitely going to be on there. Um, and if you're unfamiliar with Uniformation, you need to go over and check them out. We're not talking about putting a metal band around a vat. That they actually have a heater within the system itself. They got internal fans, internal power supply, which is really cool. Um, and they're just great printers, easy to change out FEP. They're very consistent. They're workhorses. The screen lasts a while. The other thing that I heard that they're going to do also is have a glass screen. So in the event that you may have some resin to drop on there and dry, or you get a poke a hole through your FEP and it dries on there. If you've ever used, or if you've ever had a printer with a glass screen, it's the best, because all you can do is just take a razor blade and scrape that off. I mean, you can take an actual real razor blade and scrape it off, because it's not going to damage the screen because of the glass. Now, going back to Lenant, the Lenant printers have a glass screen, and they're just a super blessing in disguise. You don't need a screen protector or anything like that. You can put one on there, but you don't need it because it's a glass screen. There's no plastic or acrylic or anything like that. Um, like Clay just says, he prints in the UK in the shed. Heating means success. No heating means failure. So a lot of people that are printing overseas and everything have that same dilemma. And then when you have that heater on there, it makes a huge difference. Hey, Daryl, how you doing? Um, so yeah, so we're looking forward. That's that's the printer I'm looking more forward to than anyone out there. So, you know, hopefully that one comes out pretty soon and we can get to take a look at it, and everybody can grab one. I don't know what their price point's going to be or anything like that. I mean, if it goes, if everything that they put in there kind of relates to the price they had on the GK2 with a bigger build volume and everything like that, I imagine it'll probably be close to around $1,000. Well, it's just, and that's my guess, unless they have done something in order to um, remedy the price a little bit. I don't know. Maybe they had one hell of a thing where, hey, we've had so much good run on the GK2 and stuff like that, we can actually mass manufacture more with the 3 and get the price down for you guys. So let's hope we can do that. Because the GK2 blew up to where they were having all kinds of issues, if you remember right, getting it shipped out. They had orders like out the wazoo. Then they did the Black Friday thing that made it even worse. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully that they make enough where we don't have that problem when this thing hits. I'm telling you, it's going to hit hard, and people are going to scoop this thing up. And I think it's probably one of the most, if not the most anticipated printer that's coming out this summer. Hey, Chuck, how are you doing, sir? All right. So the other one that I had just seen, and I did not put it in the description or on the front, was Frozen has their Revo that recently came out. I haven't looked too much into that one, but to my understanding, it's a pretty basic build volume on it. That does have, I think, the sensor, the resin sensor detecting, the low resin sensor detecting, which is cool. But is it really necessary? I mean, when you go into a slicer to slice a model, prep a model, or whatever, it tells you what you should put in there. Generally, like in Chitubox, Lychee, I think, does the same thing, but it'll tell you like a volume that you should put in there. So if you put the proper amount of resin in there, I mean, common sense would tell you don't need to put any more in there. So I think that's kind of one of those things that, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion. You guys form your own opinion. That is really just not necessary unless you just. I mean, if you're printing a long print, at one point you're going to have to probably pour more resin in there. So, so that brings me. Tyrone says, "Can my Punisher prints get any bigger?" Oh, yes, sir. I'm printing a life-size bust right now. So yeah, I can get big. I can get big. I got this Frozen Sonic Mega 8K over here that says I can go as big as I want. That and Mesh Mixer is my friend. But yeah, so all that right there. Let's talk about the one that we probably have the most information on right now, and that's Elgu is releasing the Saturn 4 and the Saturn 4 Ultra. So where do we start with this one? All right, first off, I'm not going to dog Elgu. They make some great products. Their customer service is top notch, and they make some very, very reliable printers. However, I don't think that they've really listened to the consumer, and I'll tell you why. So most consumers are wanting two major things, and that is, again, the heater, which to my understanding, this is going to have some form of heater. They're really not getting to specifics, but anyway, the heater and the bigger build volume. So from what I've seen and from in the comments and stuff like that, this thing has actually got a smaller build volume. I think it's 40 millimeters smaller in the Z axis and stuff than the 3 does. Why would you take a step back on that? But let's talk about some of the features here, okay? And I got this pulled up here because I'm old and I don't quite remember all the stuff. Let's talk about the first feature that they released here. They've been doing teaser pictures and post on Instagram and everything like that. So they have this thing. It's a tilt release technology. Now, what that means is, as this thing pulls off, the z-axis goes up or whatever, the vat will actually tilt and release it, making it peel away from the build plate. Okay. This is not a new feature. Okay. The Prusa SL1, I think it was, has been using this for years. I think Form Labs has been doing this for years. So it's not anything that's just new and people have been begging for, because I've really heard nobody at all ask for this feature. Um, in my opinion, and again, it's my opinion, this poses a problem in a couple of ways. It poses a problem, in my opinion, for first off, if that step motor goes out, um, and I made a comment on El Goose side about that, that you're kind of screwed. Okay. It'll mess up your print if it goes out. Then someone says, well, it's a step motor. You can replace it. It's just like 4 screws and a wire. Who the hell wants to do that though? Why do you want that thing to go out on you? And if you're somebody who's not mechanically inclined, or let's say if you're doing this for work or something, you got this printer for work, for your job or whatever, you don't want to be, you know, replacing that step motor. And the second thing is, what if you're just not mechanically inclined to go in there and change that? Because not everybody can do that. And don't go around saying that, well, if you don't know how to change this, if you don't know how to change this motor, then you shouldn't have a printer to begin with. That's bullshit. Because that's like saying that, oh, if you don't know how to change oil in your car or change a head gasket on your car, then you shouldn't be driving a car. It's apples to oranges, man. So I mean, not everybody is going to rip that front off of that thing and go in there and replace that stepper motor. I mean, not to mention, would that void the warranty on it? I mean, later on down the road, I mean, the warranty is not a big deal, but I mean, why would you want to try and change that out? I mean, you don't do that. So anyway, you want something that's going to work, not something that's going to fail on you. And to me, that gives another opportunity for failure. There's a lot of things out there too that, let's say if that thing goes up and that stepper motor doesn't go all the way up, is that going to unlevel your bed, or is that going to make unlevel your vat or whatever, where your print is just not going to print right from that point forward? Um, I did read a couple of years ago, when they first introduced us with the Prusas and the Form Labs, that happened. So you got the tilt vat, the release or whatever like that. It worked for a second, first couple of layers, and then after that, you started getting some shifting and some knotting and stuff. Started getting some prints that were kind of like wavy. So that is something that can happen. Anytime you put a moving mechanism or a moving part on a machine, a printer, whatever it is, you're giving another opportunity for failure. I mean, that's something to go out. So my opinion, it's not needed. It was a waste of, it's not an R&D technology thing, because the technology's been out there for years, but I don't think it's something necessary for people to get a better quality print or anything like that. It's just like, okay, we're just going to put this on there and maybe tack on a little bit more money for a charge. I don't think it's necessary. But again, that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. So the other thing that they released too, now I like this one. Yes, Steve, fewer moving parts is less problems. So the one thing that I kind of like is the smart mechanical sensor. So it's okay that you should know how to fill up your vat. You should know, again, by how much resin you need to use for a part or a print. But this is kind of cool to have in case something just, you got a residue that pops off or something like that. It will detect that. So that's the part that I like. Not that if you're low on resin or anything like that, but let's say you got a support that comes off and just falls into the tank or whatever like that. it should detect that it has an issue. That way the build plate's not going to go down, poke a massive hole in your FEP and ruin your print even worse. At that point, your print's already ruined probably, but it doesn't mess up your FEP where you have to go and change it out. So I dig that one. That one's a pretty cool feature to have. And to be honest with you, it should have come out a long time ago. And I think, from my understanding, that there's more printer companies that are actually putting that technology into upcoming printers. So the hats off to them for doing that one. It's mainly for it should tell you insufficient resin detected, residue detected. Please troubleshoot. Now, my problem is the only thing that I have question in that is that going to automatically stop the print? Like if it's in the middle of printing or whatever like that, and something pops off there, is that going to stop the print and just you can't restart it or whatever like that? And we're going to get to that in a minute. How's that work? So the thing that they did put on this is if that happens, you should not have to worry about it. Should not, because it does have power loss resume printing. That one I like too. Okay. Because I could tell you, I've had to hook up a UPS uninterrupted or a power supply to some of my printers because power goes out sometimes and it screws up your prints. You don't want to do that. I mean, you want to be able to keep going, and that's the thing. So apparently, this one here, if you have a power outage and the power comes back on, it will not disrupt your print job. It will start pretty much where it left off. And yes, all printers need that. I think that that is something that they should have done a long time ago. But it's one of those things, I guess, that you probably don't think about in the beginning until you have people writing in or calling in or whatever, expressing their opinion in customer service of like, man, I need something to keep from screwing up my prints from power outages or whatever. It's one of those things that just it should just pop into your head. The technology is simple, and it's not costly. So that's something that I think that more printer companies need to do and need to have. So again, the other thing is they're going to have the flip top. I don't care either way. I mean, whether it's a flip top, whether it's a top that totally comes off, I think the flip tops are a little bit more convenient in order for you to access the printer, which is cool. It's a space saver in a way. However, if the print, it depends on how they do it. It looks like that it's just going to come straight up. But you know how some of the printers, the covers will come up and slant back a little bit, so you have to pull it away, and it takes a little bit more shelf space. It looks like that they're doing this the right way, so we'll see on that one. Let's see. Clay says, let's see here. I'd love the FEP sheet with a frame around it, so you buy it all pre-tensioned and it just magnet snaps onto your vat. Hate changing FEPs. That would be an interesting one. The pre-tension ones, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that because I think that I don't like changing FEPs because it's time consuming, and I agree with you there, Clay, but I mind it and I don't mind it. I mean, I understand that you got to do that. That's part of the job, part of the maintenance of the printer. It would be cool, but the only thing that I would be concerned with that is if you have a magnet that snaps into there, if you get resin in the magnet, would it not adhere very well and start to slide or shift? Think about that. So if you have a magnet on there, let's say the magnet snaps on there, resin leaks or seeps or whatever, because it's a liquid, it's going to find a way. And if it starts covering up the magnet area and it's got that little fine film there where the magnet doesn't adhere to each other, will it start to shift or whatever? That's my only concern there. So I thought about that too. That would be a cool feature to have. The other feature that this is going to have is they're calling it an AI camera. Why can't we just say that it's a camera? All right, so I'm going to tell you what I think about that. Why do you need a camera, man? Are you going to be sitting there going, my print is going okay. It's doing okay. It's good. Okay. Why do you need a camera to look at your print? I mean, here's the thing. If you have trouble, okay, if you have trouble with the print, something's breaking off or you got some residue or whatever like that, isn't that what that detection is for? So does it automatically stop your printer? Does it notify you? Does it beep or whatever like that? Then why do you need a camera? Some people, I guess, just like looking at stuff. To me, it's just a feature that is not needed. They could take the technology and put it into something else. I mean, yeah, it's my opinion. A lot of people like that feature. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions about it. Some people like it's not necessary. Um, it just does not. I mean, to me, it just doesn't do anything. I don't know why I would need it. But they're calling it an AI camera to detect failure and stay updated on your print progress. Yeah, think about that for a minute. To stay updated on your printing progress. Okay. Here's the first comment, okay, onto this when they introduce this. It says, "Error monitoring is a welcome addition. Now do a vat heater and it'll be perfect." It's all about the vat heater. Everybody's like uh, totally on it. So this person says, "Waste of time, gimmick selling, practical things would be better. Build volume, heater, auto vat filling, getting rid of the build plate screws, vat clips. List goes on, and perhaps getting things like the Wi-Fi sorted on the Saturn III first." Does that sound familiar of a printer who has pretty much already done that? And that's yeah, that's GK2. Um, Joe says, "Is that power resume a firmware quick fix that all printing companies can probably release?" I think it could be. I don't know what they would have to put into there to make it work other than that, as far as like any mechanisms or anything. If anybody is like an engineer on here by chance, or if anybody has any knowledge of that, let me know. I'd be curious to find that out. I don't think that you would have to have like any type of mechanism, because I mean, probably software or something. I don't know. Um, Here's another. I'm just reading you some of the comments on this. Necessary for remote viewing, but heater is vital. Drop the tilt gimmick and give me a heater. All right. So the comments are kind of all over the place. Some people say they love it. Some people say it's unnecessary. Me, I just don't. I'm not going to be out at a movie or a restaurant eating and go, "I wonder how my print's doing. Okay, let's look at, oh, it's looking good." I don't do that. I mean, do people really do that? I mean, help me out here. I mean, that just doesn't seem practical to me. The design of this thing is really weird. Um, it looks to me more like a PC tower than it does a printer. So I'm curious. I don't know why they're just doing that. They're just trying to reinvent the wheel on the design. I guess to make it a little bit more appealing. I don't know. Um, so let's see what else they got on here. We talked about the tilt release technology. We talked about residue detection. We talked about the smart mechanical sensor, resin shortage alarm. Let's see. We talked about the AI camera, uh, and then the power loss resume printing, which is pretty cool. I got to admit on that one. Um, yeah. So far, that's all they've released. I'm not sure what else they're going to have with it. I don't know anything on price point. My guess is this thing is going to be like 600 to $800 easy with all these features on here. And again, that's one reason why I don't think that it's necessary. I want to keep the price point down so people can afford it, but it's all about the money, I guess. So here is my dilemma in all this. When you start adding all these bells and whistles to these printers automatically, I think it would drive the price up. It's not necessarily new technology or anything, but it's more stuff that you're putting in there. The more moving parts that you put in there, the more susceptible to failure it's going to be. Um, and keep it simple. I mean, you give the customers what they want, what they've asked for, to make it vital to get a good print. AI cameras don't have anything to do with printing. It doesn't. It's just for your viewing pleasure or whatever. Um, Next thing you know, there's going to be conspiracy theories going, oh, they're tapping in and watching your house. I think I've already seen that. So, um, the whole tilt vat, I just don't like it at all. Um, because I think it just gives another opportunity for failure on your print. The power loss thing, yes, I like that. That is cool. The mechanical sensor, the resin detecting uh, shortage detector, I think that's pretty cool. So let's see here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so Clay says, sadly, RGB, AI camera, 12K, these things sound good to consumers just getting into it. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a second. Um, Anthony says, thoughts on an Elgu Jupiter 6K, 12K style doors on Saturn shaped covers for those with limited mobility, wheelchair users, and such. Hey, that's a great idea, man. I like that. I like that. 3D Print Bra says, handles on lids, so tired of fingerprints and messy lids. Amen, brother. So, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the whole thing. I think here's my kind of take on this. You guys remember comic books, right? You remember what happened in comic books in the 90s and even here recently, pretty much. Let's talk about the 90s. People were getting big into comic books. They started coming out with acetate covers, 3D foil covers, 50 variant covers, and things like that. All the prices went up and it drove people out. It's short and sweet. That's what happened. The comic book market kind of crashed. Now, one thing I don't want to see that we may, oh yeah, chromium covers. Thanks, Garrett. Um, One thing I do not want to see is um, printers coming with all these pretty bells and whistles, all these fancy designs and everything to get people in to the print hobby at a huge price point on the printers, and it winds up just driving out people altogether. It's just pricing them out. I mean, and I see that if these printers come out, if this Saturn 4 and Saturn 4 Ultra come out and they're like $700, $800, and the GK3 comes out and it's like $1,100 to $1,200, or the Lenant deck comes out and it's the same thing, $1,200, $1,300 or whatever. If they start coming out, they're going to drive people away. Mark my words. Watch this live stream, come back to it here in a couple of months, and tell me I'm wrong. That's just my opinion, but it's going to do the same thing because the companies want to push the envelope, make more money, more dollars in their hip pocket. We're getting more people in with the fancy, flashy stuff, and getting them to think like that. They've already started it. They're getting them to think that they have to have these features in order to print. When us old timers or old school people know that that's just complete BS. You don't. They're going to start driving people out. They've already started doing it, releasing 12K resin, 14K resin, and all that stuff. That is a typical marketing um, just tactic. It's not necessary. Um, you don't need 12K, 14K resin versus 8K, 6K resin. You don't. I don't care what nobody says. I've taken 14K resin. I've got some Sunlu 14K right now. I put it up against the ABS, the common ABS standard resin or whatever like that. It prints the same. You get the same crispy prints out of it that you would between whatever other resin. Resin One has sent me several bottles of their new resin and everything, and it's great resin. Don't get me wrong, but all their stuff is good. Same thing with Sunlu. I like Sunlu. I have not used much of Elgu. I've used any cubic resin, which is okay, but it's all printing the same. Unless you can dial the microns down way freaking up or whatever like that to the point to where it's going to like just getting to each little crumb of a detail. It's not going to do any different. You're not going to convince me that it's going to make a difference. It's been proven. People have done studies. I've done studies and everything. If you look at this crap through a microscope, yeah, because the polymers and all that stuff, the way it interacts is different. But who the hell is going to be looking at your model through a microscope? Here's another thing. Okay. By the time, let's say you get a print that is just super highly detailed, you see it like it's a portrait, you look into the portrait itself, and oh my God, the pores in the skin is just, oh, it's so detailed or whatever. Guess what? All that's going to go away when you paint the damn thing. By the time you put primer and paint on it, a lot of that's going to go away anyway. Think about it. You're not going to keep the print just perfectly like that unless you're that kind of person that does that. You're putting layers of paint on there too. So it doesn't make a difference. If it's a little crispier in detail, it doesn't make a difference because you're going to be painting it. I mean, some people paint stuff on there that looks like they're painting damn house paint on some of these models. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not going to make much of a difference. So I don't think, unless they come up with the technology and it's laser technology, it's going to make that much of a difference in the detail of the model. So I can sit there and argue with people all day long. I just don't think that. So let's see, 3D Print Boss. He's got a comment here. That's where they can make the bells and whistles as accessories add-ons, something you can buy separate and sort of build your flavor, get people buy base unit, then more money with customization. Didn't Elgoo do that or promise that with the Jupiter? I don't know. Tell me. I thought that I read somewhere that they were going to have upgrade kits and all this other stuff for there, but they never come out with it. Tell me if I don't know if it's um, if that's a truth or not. Somebody who, if they know, comment for me. Joe says that all that means we get them on market for a bargain when they can't figure out all the bells and whistles. Oh, Joe. Um, 3D Print Boss also says 8K max for us hobbyists. From everything I've seen, beyond that is medical hypertolerance required small group of people. Ding, ding, ding. He is so friggin' right. And then at that point, it's not going to make much of a difference. I mean, who in the world is going to sit there and look at that? Oh my God, that model is so gorgeous. You must have printed that in 14K. And then look at the other one and go, oh, that one doesn't look so good. Would you do print that in 6K? Come on, man. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bust anybody's balls on it, but I just think that that's just kind of a waste and a misleading. But it's a marketing tactic. Every company for everything does it. So let's see. Yeah, Joe. All right, here Joe says this. I've been using the same settings as you posted on your videos for all types of resins, and you're right. It prints the same. Yep, prints the same. And yeah, Southpaw says paint is enough to kill you. Yeah. I mean, when you print a model is one thing, looks all great and everything like that. Doing the post processing and stuff is tedious, necessary, and to me, that's where that could really make or break the model. So I think how you print, how you orientate the print, how you support the print is going to make a bunch of difference. But when it comes to resins and stuff like that, there is no difference. I mean, I think the only difference that you're probably going to have is it's whether it's water washable or just, regular standard resin. I think that's where that comes into play. I don't see 12K, 14K, 24K, 144K. Dude, it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make a difference. It is a difference whether it's resin or FDM, and that's about the extreme of it right there. But some people have that here that because they read it, it's on the internet, it's got to be true. And they'll go out and they'll buy it and they'll print with it, and then they'll have all kinds of problems. I've seen people take 12K resin, 14K resin, print with it, and just have all sorts of problems. And they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to go back to 8K resin. There, something in this is just not right." It's got nothing to do with the print. It's not the quality of the resin. It's you. It's the end user. It's the person who is setting everything up. That is the problem. And look, this is why a lot of people stay out of resin printing and stay into FDM printing. FDM printing is fun. They've got all kinds of things going on right now, like the bamboo printers, and I think Anycubic has their their bamboo ripoff or whatever like that, whatever you want to call it, printer coming out as well. What is it called? The Photon, I think, is what it's called. People love printing that stuff for fun, which is cool. Bright colors, different filaments, and everything like that. Now, when you're in resin printing, yes, you have different colors of resin. You got clear, you got transparent colors and stuff. That's cool. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to be painting stuff. All right. With resin printing, of course, it is more toxic. It is messier. There are more settings you kind of have to deal with. However, the payoff is the details are a lot better than FDM. You got better quality, models that you print, or your prints can be a lot better quality. There's a lot of pluses and minuses in both. So, but I think, man, you don't see a lot of, oh, this FDM is 12K. This FDM is 8K or anything like that. You don't see that. What you see in FDM is you see that this FDM is like a color shifting. It's black, it's white, it's red, it's got the glitter or whatever like that. It's wood filament. You see that. All right. In resin printing, you don't. You're just going to have to go off the word of somebody who's trying to make money off of you and selling you that resin and got your money. And they're like, you ain't going to see the difference. So there you go. But that's my 2 cents on that. Anyway, so with these new printers, is anybody going to buy one? Is anybody thinking about buying one? I know a lot of it has to do with price, and I don't think they've released any prices yet or anything like that. Elgu has said something in the comments that they will have a style of heater that goes along with it. I don't know whether it's going to be like an attachment. I don't know whether it's going to be one of those wonky band heaters, vat heaters or whatever. I don't know. They haven't really released it. It seems like that they're releasing information day by day. So, yeah. Rob says, nope, happy with my GK2. Don't blame you. And here's my thing. If you don't need to go out and upgrade your printer, then don't do it. I think that there is a few that I've seen a lot of people buy this Anycubic, what is it, the MKS or something like that. That thing in the beginning had all sorts of problems. So I recommend, and when you, depending on the printer itself, if you're really thinking long and hard about it, just wait and see what other people are posting about it, their opinions on it. Let them be the guinea pigs if you're really like on a tight budget or whatever like that. So, yeah. So let's see. Thank you, Gathering Curses. I appreciate that. 3D Print Bra says, I'm going to stick to my Mono X till I need a bigger built plate. And yeah, still using the Mono X 4K. A lot of people are using those. I used mine until they just died. I mean, I just wore them the hell out. I probably had 4,000 or 5,000 hours of print time on each of those things. I just went and just used it to where it just died on me. But Alan, yeah, go back and watch the GK stuff. Yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, if I look at it this way, if you don't have to upgrade, then don't. Your printer's going to print the same. I mean, at the end of the day, if you got good settings, if you got good orientation, if you've done your research and you don't have any problems, Why do you need another printer except for maybe build volume, or because maybe you live in a colder climate and you need something with a heater? So why would you need to upgrade? Um, and just so you guys, I want to show you something real quick. So for you guys that are out there that need a heater or something like that, I don't know if anybody has used these. I haven't yet, but Chi2 has a mini heater, and this thing looks like it connects, like it sets up on a perch almost, and kind of just heats into your vat. There's no band or anything like that. Check these out. I haven't used it yet. I need to use it. I haven't had to use it, but I need to use it and see if it really works. Um, but if you guys need a heater, I think these were like 40 or 50 bucks. So it's not a deal breaker. It's not like something that's going to break the bank or anything like that, but maybe something you can look into. Um, so yeah, I don't know if these work or not, but I figured I would throw that out there. But yeah, I think the two things that I look for is going to be build volume and a heater. Um, Dale says he's got one on his Amazon watch list. Um, let's see. Let's see. Alan says, let's see what Alan says here. Whoop. Alan says, only reason for me to upgrade for my Saturn 8K is larger volume and or vat heater and easier leveling. I agree. Absolutely. So another thing people are doing, like in like the UK and other colder climates, is they're just getting a heater and setting it up somewhere, like directing it towards the printers, just taking the covers off. So yeah. Can the heat affect the FEP? That's a good question, Joe. I don't think it's so much of the heater per se that can affect it. It doesn't get like 60, 70, 80 degrees in there or anything like that to affect the FEP, because the FEP is also, I think it's a polypropylene uh, or mylar type cover or whatever, depends on which FEP you get. It doesn't affect it, doesn't warp it or anything like that, because the thing is stretched. It really doesn't warp it. But that is a good question. I think that it doesn't affect it. It's just doesn't get hot enough to do that. Um, okay, well, here's another thing. Even heater can cheat. I use a lizard under fish tank pad stuck to the inside of my lid. The sensor on the other side keeps everything warm. You know, you're not the first person to say that. Um, yeah, I've seen somebody that says that they do that as well, and it's pretty efficient. Like loosen it up, Joe. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen anybody to say that the heater just totally loosens up the FEP or anything like that. No. Um, so anyway, I am I'm mainly looking forward to the GK3 because I don't think that they're going to put all these unnecessary things onto the printer. They're just going to give me a bigger build volume. They're going to give me that vat heater, and they're going to give all just the basic stuff that we want. I think that they're probably going to put the resin sensoring on there, like the low resin sensoring thing on there. And if they do, that'd be great. And that's all I really care about. I don't need a tilt vat. I don't need some of these unnecessary. I don't need an AI camera or anything like that. I'm not going to be looking at my damn print sitting there in the bed at nighttime when you're trying to go to sleep. You know how you get on your phone or whatever, and if you have a print going on overnight, I mean, if they've got the sensor detection on there, it's going to shut the printer off anyway, no matter what you do. So, I mean, you're going to be looking at your print. Oh man, it's turning out right. It's turning out right. Just wait till the friggin' morning. Here's the thing. A lot of people need to understand this, that if you keep going in there and you keep lifting that cover, all right, and to check your print and stuff like that, like some people do, you're letting in cold air. You're running the risk of different types of layer shifting. messing with the temperature or whatever like that, don't do it. Just let the thing print. Um, I need to buy or build a bigger curing station. I'll tell you this. So Hay Gears has a very good curing station. It's got like a bake sort of feature on it. It's got the cure feature on it and everything. It's probably the best curing station I've ever used. But that damn thing is $750. They sent it to me and can't even get they sent the whole system to me and I can't even get the printer to work. Um, if you try to get it work or whatever like that, it says it's low temperature or something. Anyway, we're working on that one. Um, yeah, my wife brings up a good point. So maybe that's a reason for the cameras. So people stop looking and messing with the lid and messing up prints. Hey, that's one way to think about it. She always finds the positive in things. But I just don't see any use for a camera. I don't go in there and go like if I have to put resin in there because the vat's running low, like sometimes I have to do on the Mega 8K here. That thing holds like 800 liters of resin or whatever, or not liters. I think it holds like almost 2 kilograms of resin. Then yeah, sometimes you print a huge print, then you got to look at it. But this is an old printer. I mean, it's not today's technology. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, there you go, Alan. The only thing for camera, really, hold on. The only thing for the camera would be for people with YouTube channels to use it as B-roll footage. That's smart, man. You just gave me an idea. I might need a camera after all. Print Boss says camera's okay if they had the control, if printer was available via remote, Wi-Fi, cell, etc. At least you could pause, stop the print if you see it failed, and then it won't be curing on the FEP. My question is, if they have a camera in there, you're not going to be able to see whether you got a pinhole and it's leaking onto the FEP or the screen. That would be cool if they had some type of sensor to sense that. If you got a hole in your FEP and it starts leaking resin on your screen and it senses that, that would be a game changer, because then your printer would shut down. You wouldn't get any more dried resin on your screen. You'd know to come over there, take the vat off, clean it off, and it wouldn't ruin your screen. There you go. I'm going to patent that. Let's make that technology happen. Darth Viciousness. I like that name. He said, I ordered an Elgu Mars 4 9K printer with a washer cure combo. Everything will be here on Tuesday. That'd be cool. If they sell a machine that washes prints, then cleans the alcohol, I'd buy that. Yeah, that would be cool. Man, that would put a lot of people would get that. Absolutely. Good idea, Clay. Um, Alan's wanting to know, whatever happened to that upside down rocket shaped 3D printer Uncle Jesse tried? Never heard any more of it. I think it was a utter joke. I think it didn't do very good at all. What was that one printer that everybody got that was damaged? Galaxy printer? Is that right? Let me know. The Galaxy printer. I haven't heard anything more off of that other than it was just a big hunk of junk. But a lot of people paid a lot of money in that Kickstarter for those things, and they were getting them in, and the internal vat pins and stuff were broken and bent and everything. It was just a really, really bad mess. I wonder whatever happened to those. I haven't seen anything. I totally just stopped following their YouTube page or their Facebook page. The one where the head is an up down. So I think so. Galaxy printer. Okay. Calling your weirdos. Thank you, dude. Did anybody get that printer? It was a very large printer, had a really good build volume, but from what I seen, it just people could not really get a good print out of it. Um, yeah, the Rocket printer had good features, but looked really awkward and messy. No idea who. I don't remember who made it either. I had now you're gonna want to maybe go back and look at Jesse's page and find out what that printer was. Another one is the eSun. It's an FDM printer, but that thing is very strange. It's really tall and cylinder shape, and it's got the arms that go down and print anything. Apex Maker X1. There you go. But it was like printing like so. That just seemed really awkward to me. Um, was close to getting it, but backed out. Yeah, me too. I was going to get it, and I just saw everybody starting to receive it. It was like in a flimsy wood crate. The shipping was outrageous, and it was just a mess. People just couldn't get anything done on it very good. They were having all kinds of issues with it. The beta units that went out first were trash, and then they started sending out stuff that. Oh, Jay says his arrived intact and he loves it. Okay, all right. Um, so yeah, cool. At least someone got one. Uh, doesn't alcohol evaporate? Do you have to wash it off? Yeah, alcohol evaporates. No. So with alcohol, when you wash something or whatever in the alcohol and you get everything off, you just take and let it dry. Take it out, let it dry. It evaporates, dries on its own. You don't necessarily have to wash it off if you've got clean alcohol, that is. So when I clean my prints, I use clean alcohol. I use um, I use some really chemical gloves, some really thick chemical gloves. I scrub everything with like an old toothbrush, get that residue off in the cracks and everything like that. I don't just sit it in there and agitate it a little bit and just take it out and be done with it, because I've always seen issues where there's um, residue that can be on some of the detail and everything. If you take that toothbrush and scrub that stuff off in the alcohol, helps get it off of there, and the prints look a little better to me. And I just set it over to the side on a couple of paper towels and let it dry off. I usually let my prints dry off for a few hours before I start doing any type of curing. And I'll take, like, if you have an airbrush, take the air like um, in your drain holes and stuff like that. Do it carefully, but do it at your own risk. And just take the airbrush and just blow a little air in there inside of it, and it'll actually help dry the inside of it a little quicker and stuff, and help get a lot of that residue, that alcohol and possible resin and stuff like that out of there. That is one good way to get that stuff out of there, because I've seen people who will even let it dry for like a full 24 hours, 48 hours. And because of the way the model may be printed or whatever like that, it's designed, then when they start to go cure it and everything, they take it out and there's like alcohol and stuff just dripping all over the place. So that's one thing you can do when you're washing your prints and curing them. Um, Southpaw says, I'm hoping all these fancy schmancy printers come out and the current printers drop in price. They will. They will drop in price. I don't see them dropping a lot. If you remember right, when like the Saturn 3 come out, the Saturn 2 kind of dropped big time. And the Saturn 1 was like, get it on the cheap. But like I said earlier, I'm thinking that a lot of these companies are putting these bells and whistles on there so they could charge more. And my only fear is they're going to be charging, so they're going to get to where they're charging so much and coming out with so much that it's going to drive people out. Because think about it, we're getting printers more often now, new models more often from like Anycubic and Elgu and a couple of the other printers. Can you filter your alcohol and reuse it? Yes, you can. There's been some people to actually get alcohol, like old alcohol, let it sit so the residue comes to the bottom, and they actually get a siphon hose and siphon it into a new container. And they may strain the They may strain the what's left or whatever like that. Some people actually will take the alcohol with the residue, set it in the sun, let that stuff cure at the bottom, and they just pour the alcohol out, and all the other resin and stuff in the bottom just solidifies. Um, can you use an airbrush in a contained space, just like inside your bedroom? You can. I mean, just be careful. I would at least raise a window up or something like that. It's best to have some sort of filtration in there, wear a respirator, something. But if you're just doing a couple parts or whatever like that, I'd say that's okay. I mean, I do it, but if you're going to be primering something or painting a big piece, you don't want to be doing it just like in a confined small bedroom. I mean, have an extraction fan, have some type of respiration, some type of filtration or whatever to, or a little paint booth. I mean, like if you got a small bedroom, go on to Amazon or something like that, get you a little small paint booth. Those things extract all that fumes and overspray and stuff like that into a filtration system and everything. And they're not that much. You can get some of those for $60, $70. It'd be worth it in the long run. Evan says letting it sit is best that he's found. Okay. Thank you. What up, MMQ? Brittle water filtered pitcher. That's an idea, Joe. Thanks. So that's great, man. Everybody's coming on here and having some great ideas and stuff. I don't know whether they'll work or not, but I mean, hey, I'd be willing to try it. I've seen people to say that they use like coffee filters, like they have an old coffee maker or something like that, and they just pour the alcohol through there into the container, and it actually gets all the sediment and everything. So I don't know. Well, so Darth, you got a point, but you got to understand that TVs have been around for decades, years. Okay, the technology has been around for a while, and it's more widespread. There's more people buying TVs than 3D printers. The thing is with 3D printers, it's kind of the opposite. It's a new hobby. It's a new hobby, and it is more people are getting into it. So if you remember back in the early days, back in the 60s and 70s, when TVs basically just came out, those big units were like hundreds, thousands of dollars, and not everybody could afford a color TV. And so they did what they could do to get people into it. And because TV was new, same thing with this hobby is new, and they're going to want to get people into it. But at the same time, they're going to make you feel like these are the features that you need. And for the newbies getting into it and stuff, it's just going to be one of those things where they're going to do it. But people like us who've been doing it for a minute and understand what it takes to get a good print or whatever, we know we don't need these features and stuff. But again, when you start doing that sort of thing, putting those extra bells and whistles into something and charging more for it, the people getting into it, and you come out with another printer and you got more bells and whistles and you're charging more for it, then, I mean, it's like, man, I can't afford this hobby. This is already costing too much. They're already having to buy the resin. They're already having to buy stuff for like to treat it, alcohol, paint if you're going to paint, post-processing stuff or whatever like that. So it can run you out. Same thing with like I said earlier, the same thing with the whole comic book thing back in the 90s. Let's see. Hello, Angel. How you doing? Let me see. Tiny Littles has a question. How long have I been 3D printing, and what made me decide to buy a 3D printer? That's a good question. I don't think I've ever answered that before in public. I've only been printing for as long as I've had the channel, to be honest with you. I'll take that back a little bit. So what got me into 3D printing was I worked years and years ago for Staples. I was a store manager for Staples, and we had a 3D printer. It was an FDM printer. I can't remember what the brand was, but it was very crude. It was not even thing anywhere close to what it is today. And so we got, I mean, it was like to the point to where you could print like gears and cubes and cylinder stuff or whatever like that. But I got intrigued with it. And I saw that, worked with it for a little while, and I said, "Man, this is a technology here that could go places if they developed it right." And it's been several years after that when I first experienced that, that I really saw 3D printing, you know, like it is today. And then I got into, God, I can't remember who it was. He's got a YouTube channel. He's an older guy. I don't even think he does YouTube anymore, but I think it was 3D Printing Pro or something like that was his channel. But I saw some of his videos, and to be honest with you, I never was a big YouTuber at all. But I saw some of the things on there, and I thought, man, I'd love to give this a try or whatever. So I went and I bought the Mars, the very first Saturn, the Elegoo Mars, little bitty. Well, I take that back. I bought a oh my god, I bought an FDM printer. It was a small FDM printer, and then I printed a few things of that. Didn't like it too much or whatever, and then I saw the Mars. I bought the Mars, and the build plate's like that big. And I was printing like miniature stuff, and I was like, man, this is cool. I want to print bigger stuff. And so I started trying to fit what I could on the the build plate and everything. And then I printed a couple things for Wicked. I did a couple of models for them and just printed and painted. And then I eventually got another printer. Then my wife, who is super supportive of me, she encouraged me to start a YouTube channel, and kind of from there, man. So yeah, I mean, I've only been printing just a few years, not very long. I've been painting for over 40 years, and I'm still learning. So I don't consider myself a master painter by any means. Of course, um, well, I was printing some miniature stuff. I've still got some miniature stuff. Um, but yeah, I started printing 1/6 scale stuff through Wicked and everything. That was probably one of the first models I think that I did was the Daredevil and Punisher cathedral scene, which I got in front of me right here. So yeah, but from that point forward, I started printing just all kinds of stuff and just started doing a YouTube channel. I figured it would be fun to do. Figured I could learn from people and still show people some things as well. And it just worked out. That just worked out this way. But hey, yeah, taking a trip down memory lane here. Um, so that's cool. Yeah, you're looking for a 3D printer to enhance your hobbies like model painting and D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, I mean that's kind of one of those things. And then when I wanted to start I started the Patreon for helping me kind of support the habit or the hobby itself, I guess. And then I wanted to start getting people into it, and helping them out because I've had a lot of people ask questions and everything. And I just at one point I couldn't keep up with the questions, so I said, I'll just do a Patreon and have a Discord, and that's where I started that from. And I've got guys on there. I've got guys on there, to be honest with you, that have been so encouraging on my Discord. There's none of this negative bullshit. I mean, we don't have toxic people on there like I've seen in some of these groups. And, everybody has something bad to say about someone. But these guys on here, I've got a lot of military vets who suffer from PTSD. And then I've got some people on there that suffer from depression and things like that. And they do this hobby to cope with those sort of things. That's amazing. If you can dial in and get something, whether it be 3D printing, painting, whatever, and that helps you with what you're coping with, that that's what encourages me to keep going and doing what I'm doing. And I'm not trying to be mushy or anything like that. It's the friggin' truth. Uh, I mean, Chuck is a military veteran. Sarge is a military veteran. I got quite a few guys on here that are military veterans, and they really got into this hobby. And I tell you, some of these guys, a lot of these guys, um, from where they came from when they started following the channel, supporting me and everything like that, and then to where they are now is like a difference in daylight and dark. I mean, what we do on the Discord is we get on there, we help each other, we talk about things, we find out things about um, the latest technology and everything like that. And then we paint stuff. We share paint ideas. The guys watch the videos and everything, and they post their work. And I'm seeing what they're doing. And man, they're coming out with some really good stuff. Their skills have just been impeccable compared to where they were when they started. And more importantly, for me, it helps them. It helps them relax. It helps them cope with what they're going through in life, and that's just amazing. I'm sorry, but that's just crazy how that works like that. Like Dale says, he prints to help with his mental health. 3D Print Raw says it's Zen, which is true. I love painting. There's some days where I just don't want to do it. I don't, and I don't force myself to do it. I don't force myself to do anything. When I'm ready, I'll do it. That's why I don't come out with tons of content, like feel like I have to be on a schedule to do a video. I'll do a video when I feel like I do a video, because I just don't force myself to do it. And I don't think that that's with, that's not the way that I do it. YouTube is not my day job. I do have it. Somebody asked earlier if I have a day job. Yes, I do. I don't want to get into it, but yes, I've got a day job. My day job pays my bills. YouTube is fun. Yes, YouTubers, when they're monetized, they make a little bit of money. I usually funnel it back into the channel when I do the model of the month for my Discord. These models don't come free. They do cost. But whatever I usually get from there, I wind up putting back into the channel. Let me see. Tyrone, didn't Uncle Jesse attempt to make a life-size Magneto? Yes. I think he's working on that project again. So Southpaw says he drives a bus, so I started just to relax. It's rough out there. Yep. Painting helps with anxiety and anger issues. Absolutely. Yes, it does. So everybody kind of has their thing. A lot of people do it to make money, to a little side hustle. Some people do it because they want to relax. A lot of people like to do it because they like, to make models and stuff. I mean, I do it because I'm tired of paying hundreds and thousands of dollars for uh, production, stuff that everybody else has, and I want something special for my collection or whatever. And plus, I like to do it to relax. It soothes the soul for me. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own reasons. I don't do it to really, any other I don't do it to do commission work. I don't do commission work for people, or anything like that. I do it for myself. So whatever helps you get through, man. But I encourage people to try it, have fun with it. And that's it. I think somebody said something about my crow shirt. So yeah, I got this cool ass crow shirt. How you like that? I bought this. This was not given to me from anybody. It says, real love is forever. It's got yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I got this from I think a company called Cavity Colors. Yeah, nice shirts, very comfortable. But I bought a couple of theirs. Rob says, admit it, you were going for the largest Punisher collection in the world. Rob, I already have it. Just to let you know, before COVID, I was actually going to have Guinness was actually going to come out and do a count and all this other stuff like that on the collection. for the largest collection in the world. But COVID happened and it never happened after that. And now they're like backlogged for like 2 years or something like that. And plus, a lot of my Punisher collection is put away. It's actually in storage because I have too many damn models. But yes, just to answer your question, I have a huge, huge Punisher collection. Um, I think I have 15 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 129. I think I have like 4 9.8s, 3 9.6s, a 9.4, 9.2, a 9.0, an 8.5, and I think I have a 6, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I have like 1 or 2 that aren't CGC graded. Um, Alan says, I come from a background of making plastic Tamiya kits. I enjoy making my own now. Very satisfying. Absolutely. Um, cool. All right, guys, we are almost an hour and a half in. You guys have been like amazing tonight. Haven't had as many people on, but that's okay. This is not about having a bunch of people on. If you like tonight's topic, if you like the channel, don't forget to hit that like button for me. Make sure you are a subscriber to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming and supporting the channel, taking time out of your day, taking time out of your night. I know we got some people that are in overseas and everything that's very late where you are, and I do appreciate it very, very much. I think it's about a wrap for tonight, guys. If anybody has any questions, any quick questions, we can get into them real quick. I know we've been answering some for a few. I'll leave with this. My closing remarks are, of course, with any printer, any company making a printer or anything like that, if you feel like that this is the printer for you, then buy it. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my opinion. Don't take anybody else's opinion. Buy what you want to buy, print what you want to print, paint what you want to paint. Be it for you. I mean, again, I encourage people to do their research and um, to watch what other people say if like they have any troubles or anything like that out of it. Take that into consideration. Um, just have fun, um, buy what you want to buy. It's your money. Don't let anybody dictate how you spend your money and everything, but again, do your research. These are all amazing companies. They all put out very nice products or anything. But this is all based on my opinion. And yeah. Let's see. Waiting for the sales of the old stuff. Yep, you and me too, man. Do I recommend any STL creator besides 3D Spot? Oh yeah, absolutely. So as far as 3D creators or STL creators or whatever like that, there's dozens on everywhere. Look on ArtStation. ArtStation is a good resource. CG Trader is a good resource. If you look on there for some models and stuff, they have a hire me option on there. You can contact those creators and possibly get them to do some work for you. My suggestion is look at their portfolios, make sure they've done work that's credible, not stealing other people's pictures or anything like that. If somebody contacts you and says, I am 3D artist, avoid them, delete them, don't respond back to them. Because if they have to go out and search for work like that, then they're obviously doing something that's maybe shady or whatever. AJ says this really helped me with my layover in the airport. That's cool. At least you had something to watch. That's neat. Um, but yeah, there's plenty on some of these Facebook groups, um, Facebook groups, Instagram groups, and stuff. Just do your research on these people and everything. There's a lot of great artists out there. Shop on prices and stuff like that. But yeah, ArtStation, CG Trader, Thangs, I think is what it's called. But there's a lot of people out there that you can connect with. So cool. All right. Okay, everyone. I think this is about a wrap for the evening. I think it's about time to wrap it up. Still, I have dinner to eat. But hey, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in for tonight. Um, we will probably be back next week with another one. I'm working on the next video. I am going to be doing a review for the X Tool F1. That's coming up here in the next few days as well. And I'll be doing another video drop very, very soon. Don't forget to go out and check my homie, my Sergeant Digital Design. Go over there and check him out. Uh, look up Enzo Shimamura. He is my artist that I've been working with for the past few months. Amazing up and coming artist. He is somebody that you could probably check into as well. If you are looking for a good Discord to come to and Patreon to follow, take a look at my link in the description and everything. We'd love to have you over there. We do model of the month and everything like that too. So looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Everybody have a good evening. And you know what I have to say, be safe, get out and create something, print, prep, paint, repeat. And until the next video, until the next live stream, everybody, have a good night. We'll see you. Bye now.